They're activating the sleeper cells. Since the party kicked off in Iran, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, sought revenge by launching drone strikes at Israel and U.S. bases across the Middle East, killing 6 Army reservists. Most recently, Iran's forces, or what's left of them, resorted to attacking neighbors such as those in Azerbaijan, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. But for many Americans, particularly those who don't pay attention, this is just another squabble in the Middle East with little to no real consequences for those in the homeland. Then the media hit us with the sleeper cell headlines. Now, when you hear about sleeper cells, you might think of Tom Clancy novels or the hit FX series The Americans, which was a great show from what I remember. There could have been some woke stuff that they put in there that I didn't pick up on at the time. Or you might think of real-life agents such as Anna Chapman or Audrey Bezrukov. But following Operations Midnight Hammer and Epic Fury, we're hearing more warnings that enemy agents have been or soon will be activated on American soil. According to the LA Times, federal authorities detected mysterious encoded radio broadcasts potentially aimed at sleeper cells on U.S. soil following the February 28th killing of Iran's supreme leader. While these stories make Americans' ears perk up and drive clicks, are sleeper cells a potential threat, or have they been killing Americans for years? Thanks for stopping by NPC Overwriter, where we challenge mainstream source code to develop independent thought, one user story at a time. Grab your radio, and let's check out the latest programming. The media knows that headlines about sleeper cells and articles about secret radio messages to foreign agents make sensational stories to rile up the public. But this isn't the Cold War. Soviet agents waited patiently, often for years, awaiting official orders to target the US government, which was missions typically to gain intelligence, not so much to assassinate people. And if it wasn't random Americans, it would have been for some intelligence officer or somebody in the military. But unlike the Reds, the Iranian regime are violent Islamic fanatics. They don't need encoded transmissions or official orders to carry out their mission, which is to kill Americans. Let's go over 12 examples of Islamic terrorists who remained, quote, asleep for years, some of them even serving in the U.S. military before activating themselves to kill Americans. First up, we have the Little Rock recruiting office shooting. June 1st, 2009 in Little Rock, Arkansas, Abdullah Hakim Mujahid Muhammad, he was born Carlos Leon Bledsoe, by the way, a U.S. citizen and a convert to Islam who had trained in Yemen, carried out a drive-by shooting at a joint U.S. Army-Navy recruiting office. Motivated by jihadist ideology, he opened fire with an SKS rifle, killing 23-year-old Private William Andrew Long and seriously wounding an 18-year-old Private Quentin Eziguala, I believe. Muhammad was initially sentenced to death, but later commuted to life without parole. Heading over to Fort Hood, Texas, November 5th, 2009. Major Nidal Hassan, an Army psychiatrist, was radicalized while talking with Al-Qaeda cleric Anwar al-Awlaki, walks into the Soldier Readiness Center yelling Allahu Akbar and guns down 13 unarmed service members, including a 21-year-old pregnant soldier. Wounded 32 more. Civilian police officers arrived within minutes and engaged, leaving him paralyzed. Eventually got the death penalty, but as of now, in 2026, he's still locked up in Leavenworth. Moving along to April 15th, 2013, Boston Marathon finish line. Chechen-American brothers Tamerlan and Zakhar Tsarnaev planted pressure cooker bombs, killing 3 and maiming over 260. The brothers were self-radicalized jihadists inspired by online Islamist propaganda. During the manhunt, they shot and killed an MIT cop who I believe was just sitting in his patrol car. 4 officers killed Tamerlan. The other guy, Zokar, whatever his name is, got death row. The brothers were apparently on a watch list, but nobody managed to connect the dots, or maybe they intentionally ignored the dots. Who knows? Moving along to San Bernardino, December 2, 2015, at the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health Christmas party. Syed Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, who worked there, showed up with rifles and killed 14 of their co-workers and wounded 22. They pledged allegiance to ISIS on Facebook right before the police ended them in a shootout. Investigators later found pipe bombs and other IEDs in their vehicle and home. Moving along, November 28th, 2016, Ohio State campus. Somali refugee Abdul Razak Ali Artan mows down students in his car, then he jumps out with a butcher knife, stabbing 13, but nobody was killed, thank God. A responding officer arrived within a minute or so and smoked the offender before he could do any further damage, and the offender posted ISIS-inspired rants online shortly before the attack. Here's the strapping young man who took down that threat, and from what I read, he is now the deputy chief of police. Good for him. All right, let's head down to Orlando. June 12, 2016, at the Orlando Pulse Gay Club. Omar Mateen, a security guard, stormed in with a rifle and killed 49 people, wounding 53. At the time, I believe it was the worst mass shooting in American history, only to be overshadowed by Las Vegas that followed after that, if I'm not mistaken. The shooter called 911 several times to pledge allegiance to ISIS during the 3-hour standoff before SWAT took him out about 5 a.m. December 6, 2019, Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida. Saudi Air Force trainee Mohammed Saeed Al-Shmarani opens fire while shouting Allahu Akbar, imagine that, kills 3 U.S. sailors and wounds 8 before sheriff's deputies killed him in a shootout. The FBI found Al-Shmarani was driven by a violent Islamist ideology, as evidenced by his online manifesto and communications with Al-Qaeda operatives. Next up, January 1st, 2025, Bourbon Street, New Orleans. Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar drove his F-150 truck into New Year's partygoers, killing 14 people, injuring 57 before police fatally shot him. Investigators found IEDs and an ISIS flag in his vehicle, and the man had posted online videos pledging allegiance to ISIS just before the attack. All right, getting to be more recent now. Let's head over to Austin. March 1st, 2026, at Buford's Backyard Beer Garden in Austin, Texas. Ndiaga Diang, whatever his name is, a Senegalese-born 53-year-old male wearing a Property of Allah sweatshirt of all things, opened fire on bar patrons, killing Ryder Harrington, Savitha Shawn, and Jorge Peterson, and wounding 14 others. Shortly after, Austin police arrived and put the man down like the dog that he was. Okay, let's head to NYC. March 7th, 2026, New York City. Emir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi chucked an IED, or multiple IEDs, I believe, at protesters near New York City's Gracie Mansion. The attacks were ISIS-inspired, but no major casualties since the devices did not detonate, thank God. Okay, heading into Michigan. 12th, 2026, 41-year-old Ayman Mohammed Ghazali drove his pickup truck into Temple Israel, a synagogue in Bloomfield Township, Michigan, which is close to Detroit. After he got stuck in his truck, I guess in a doorway, he engaged security guards in a shootout, but the shooter, the shooter took his own life before he was killed or captured. Excuse me, man, my throat is dry today. Lastly, Old Dominion University shooting. March 12, 2026, at ODU, Mohammed Baylor Jallo, a 36-year-old former National Guardsman, killed 1 person and wounded 2 others while shouting Allahu Akbar again. Thankfully, ROTC students, there we go, quote, subdued the suspect and rendered him no longer alive, said an FBI special agent. That is the weirdest way to phrase that. Of course, there's other reports online that suggest that the ROTC students stabbed, or at least one of them stabbed and killed the attacker, ending the violence. But despite all this, Islamic terror is not the only threat. Communists, socialists, anarchists, etc. all share a common goal, which is to see America fail. How? To create chaos. No encrypted radio messages required. All you have to do is shut down the mental institutions, open up the border, and divide the nation with identity politics, and you'll get the violence that doesn't get the same attention as, quote, sleeper cells. We really could go on all day with non-Islamic terror throughout the United States, but I'm just going to pick 3 examples for each type, what will we call it, trend, I guess, that's been killing Americans for many years. First, we'll start off with illegal criminal aliens. In April 2025, 37-year-old Megan Boss from Antioch, Illinois, was found dead in a container in an illegal alien's backyard in nearby Waukegan, Illinois, after she was reported missing on March 9, 2025. And let's show her picture here and not that piece of... Earlier this month in New York, an illegal alien pushed Richard Williams, an 83-year-old Air Force veteran. Wow. Pushed onto the tracks on March 8th. and the man is still fighting for his life. We don't have a picture of the victim on that one. Hopefully he pulls through. Last month, Stephanie Minter, a 41-year-old woman of Fredericksburg, Virginia, was stabbed to death while waiting for a bus by an illegal alien who has been in the country since 2012. This douche. Again, we don't have a picture of her, unfortunately. I think that's why I switched over to X. Okay, let's talk about illegal drivers now. In 2025, an illegal alien struck and killed 75-year-old Sally Alcaraz Rodriguez in Tucson, Arizona. The offender received, guess what, 2.5 years behind bars. Unreal. Killed beloved grandma. Slap on the wrist is right. In 2014, in Texas, an illegal alien struck and killed 13-year-old Crisia Odette while she was crossing through a legal crosswalk. Yes, we have a picture of her. I don't think so. That's her dad there, I believe. Her death came 15 months after she lost her mother to cancer, so the dad was left alone after losing his wife to cancer. 15 months later, an illegal criminal alien that had no business in this country ran his daughter over. And get this, the offender spent a whole 30 minutes in jail before being released. But thanks to Trump, ICE arrested the guy in 2025. I'm not sure if he was deported yet or if he's still being held, but at least he was arrested. Okay, in November of last year, an illegal criminal alien struck Amber Paris, a 15-year-old girl, while she was riding her electric scooter in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was placed in a medically induced coma, and she passed away 6 days before Christmas on December 19th. So in addition to all this, again, we can go all day with this. Don't forget this guy and many others like him who have been granted CDLs from states like California and New York, where they get these 18-wheelers and hit the road, not being able to read English, often going the wrong way. Look at this. I think this one killed 3 people. Look at this idiot is just standing there after 3 people were just snuffed out because he tried to pull a U-turn on a frickin' interstate. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Illegal DUIs. In 2016, a drunk illegal alien rear-ended 21-year-old Sarah Root this dude was going 71 miles an hour while she was sitting at a stoplight. I think the report said she was either just stopping or she was about to, or it had just turned green and she was about to go. I think she was going 3 miles an hour. She got hit at 71 miles an hour at almost a dead stop. Killed her instantly. She just graduated college. Last year, a drunk illegal alien crashed head-on into 2 American teenagers, Hallie Helgeson, she was 18, and Bradley Heiling, he was 19. This was in Dane County, Wisconsin. In 2021, a drunk illegal alien hit 19-year-old Paul Asakin and his 19-year-old girlfriend, Anya Varfolomeev, in Orange County, California. The offender served a whopping 3 years of a 10-year sentence. This is about enough to make you grab the bourbon. Okay, now this is kind of a mixed section here. Inner city violence, gang violence, mental illness. You know, again, we could go all day with this stuff, but I just wanted to give you a few examples of the different types of, quote, sleeper cells that are out there killing us all the time. This is Brianna Stevenson here. In March 2020, a local thug shot and killed 19-year-old Brianna Stevenson while she was sitting at a red light in Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina's got a really bad rap. The offender was charged with murder, but you know what? They couldn't get enough witnesses, and any security footage they saw was kind of grainy, so they had to let this guy go. No justice for Brianna at this time. Earlier this month, a local scumbag shot and killed 61-year-old Marietta Allison. That's her, yep. Marietta Allison, while carjacking her at a Houston hospital. This is unreal. While she was there visiting a friend that was under cancer treatment. So she leaves going to see her friend suffering from cancer, goes to the parking garage to get in her car, gets carjacked, shot, and killed by this piece. He was charged with capital murder. We'll see what happens. In 2021, a worthless local shot and killed 21-year-old Rachel Witcher in her Dallas, Texas apartment. Presumably, I think it was 1:30 a.m. when it happened. They didn't say exactly in the reports that I saw, but presumably it was an attempted robbery where Rachel surprised him, or maybe he didn't think anybody would be home, or maybe he didn't care and he was just going to kill whoever was there anyway because there's no consequences. Let's move on to our last section here, which is law enforcement. This just happened a couple of years, or excuse me, this happened this month, excuse me. Just a couple of weeks ago, on March 8th, a lowlife shot and killed Corporal Timothy J. O'Connor during a traffic stop. His wife and kids and hundreds of attendees said their final goodbyes this past Thursday, which was March 18th. His funeral services. Young family, too. On Sunday, August 3rd, 2014, two worthless illegals shot and killed Border Patrol agent Javier Vega Jr. in front of his wife and kids, and I think his parents as well, while fishing in Texas. So from what I read, they were out fishing in Texas. Two guys came up, pulled a gun. Javier obviously had a weapon on him as a patrol, even if he was as a border agent, even though he was off duty. Tried to engage them, but unfortunately was shot first. Shot and killed in front of his kids. One of the offenders received the death penalty, and another got 50 years in prison, which hopefully is pretty much a life sentence for the guy. He looked pretty raggedy. Hopefully he stays there. Moving along, lastly to back in September of 2006, Officer Rodney Johnson of the Houston Police Department arrested an illegal alien. Put him in the back of, I guess he pulled him over. He couldn't produce an identification or a driver's license. Maybe had trouble speaking English. Officer Johnson arrested him. Unfortunately, he had a concealed firearm in his waistband and shot Officer Johnson in the back of the head as he sat in the front of his patrol car. But he didn't kill him instantly, and he managed to hit an emergency switch or button in the police car. Distress call, I guess. The idiot in the back couldn't get out of the car. He was handcuffed. And what did he think he was going to do? Even if there was no emergency switch, if you're in the back of a patrol car, you can't get out. Officer Johnson left behind his wife. He had 3 daughters and 2 sons and a mother. But, despite everything that we've looked at just now, what does the corporate press tell you? The far left tell you? Same thing. They'll tell you that the right-wing extremists are the biggest threat in the U.S., which is hilarious. All right, let's head into the final patch and wrap this up so I can grab a drink. There's another type of sleeper agent out there that we haven't talked about today, which is activist judges, institutions, and politicians. Closing down all the mental institutions and opening up the border certainly wreaked havoc on American soil. But activist judges, institutions like colleges, and politicians play an important role as well as sleeper agents. If you research the criminals mentioned earlier throughout this video, you'll find these weren't their first offense. Politically driven judges are soft on crime to increase chaos in pursuit of their communist desires. Public schools and colleges push leftist propaganda to drive young Americans to hate their country. Politicians, including presidents, work their magic through passing laws and policies that harm Americans, such as lax immigration enforcement, ending cash bail for violent criminals, and closing down mental institutions. Yet while our neighbors and community members are slaughtered in the streets of our own country, many of us would rather count how many Jewish people work in Hollywood or argue about Erica Kirk's wardrobe choices. Sleeper cells have been here for decades, folks. It's the American people that need to wake up. Well, that's going to do it for this version of NPC Overrider. I'm your lead engineer, Greg. All references will be available through the release notes shortly. If you want to help me save the NPCs, join the dev team and hit the subscribe button, and set the like button to true. Got an idea for a future release? Open up a ticket in the comments section and let's chat. But for now, we're going to grab a beer. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good one.